In the 2008 Guinness World Record book, Gamers Edition, all the coolest and radical, bodacious records were in this tubular book. One of the more gnarly ones was an award for the Pokemon anime for Deno Senshi Porygon, or Cyber Soldier Pokemon. The award was for most photosensitive epileptic seizures caused by a television show. When this episode was released, it contained a scene which most people would say shouldn't be in the episode, and they would be right. The thing is, this caused like 600 people, most of which were children, to be sent to the hospital due to headaches, blindness, and seizures. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt! Okay. This event quickly became a global story and was known in Japan as the Pokémon Shock. In the aftermath, several rules were created for television in Japan to prevent such a thing from happening again. Pokemon also just kind of took Porygon behind the bar and shot him. Not only was this episode pulled everywhere and like never remade, but he hasn't been featured in the episode since, apart from a rare cameo from time to time. Yet Pikachu's fat ass, the one who actually caused the seizure-inducing scene, got off scot-free. I can't even call him that. Pikachu wasn't even fat anymore. They put him on Ozempic. I don't know why every single IP that has a slightly cute character instantly decides to put them on a strict diet that includes throwing up their dinner every night. I've had enough! I'm starting a political movement. Make Pikachu fat again. Or MAPFA. Now, we're gonna take our concerns straight to Nintendo, to the Capitol building! Wait, what? The most prominent of these anti-seizure rules were ghosting and dimming. Ghosting is basically when the last frame, instead of being replaced by the next frame, becomes transparent. While ghosting had been used in some areas to replicate motion blur, or sometimes for a cheaper alternative to animating something in slow motion, it's most commonly used in anime because it's regulation that scenes like this that have a lot of fast movement are given this ghosting effect, so there isn't another Pokemon incident. In short, everything looks like it's being drowned in a tub of Vaseline. And dimming, if it wasn't obvious already, is when the screen becomes automatically made darker, so it's harder to see in scenes with bright, fast movement. And both of these turn otherwise beautifully made shots into a disgusting, blurry mess that looks like I just tossed my masterfully crafted animation into a washing machine that's having the time of its life on Splash Mountain. But instead of water, it's Vaseline! Vaseline Mountain! And then people online complain about how new animation these days is too blurry. New animation is over-animated. It looked better in the old days. No, it didn't! No, it didn't! Have you seen old anime? Not only does this issue make animators around the world a lot more careful with animating at high frame rates, for better or for worse, but what makes this issue worse is people don't know what dimming or ghosting is. And so a lot of people think they're just choosing to make it look like that, when in reality they aren't given a choice. But you know what the funniest thing is about all of this? That superior versions to these shows without dimming and ghosting exist. Yeah, in case you didn't know, which I don't blame you, they don't advertise this shit at all, but plenty of shows that are forced to have this dimming and ghosting effect have Blu Ray versions without any of this. The biggest example of this is Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, which might be the single best animated season of television ever, in my objectively always right opinion, fight me about it in the comments, I dare you, has scenes that are gorgeously animated, but are not only blanketed in blur, but then darkened beyond belief. But the Blu-ray improves the animation in scenes that were unfinished and includes several scenes that most people who watch the show will never get to see. I'm being serious, there are several cuts of animation a large majority of people who watch the show don't know exist. I mean, just look at this. This cut, and this one, and this one, it just keeps going. I'm aware the extra scenes exist because MAPPA managed this season horribly and they didn't get to finish episode 17 and released it half-baked. But that doesn't change the fact that we have to finish thing now, but like nobody but ultra mega nerds like me even know it exists. But it's hard to try to get people to watch the superior version because even the top streaming sites like Crunchyroll, Netflix, and Prime Video don't bother to get their hands on Blu-ray licenses. So unless you're willing to sail the 7 seas, or you obtain a Blu-ray, which for plenty of shows don't ever release outside Japan until years after the season airs. I mean, we just got one for JJK Season 2 in North America like 4 months ago, 2 years after the season ended. You likely won't ever bother to see what this show is supposed to look like, and if you do, you're probably going to watch a YouTube re-upload of the Blu-ray fight that's been chopped up and edited beyond comprehension, just so YouTube doesn't block you from uploading it to begin with because of copyright laws. Now, what you're probably asking yourself is, why don't companies just upload these better versions to YouTube? Well, companies that upload fights like Crunchyroll would have to go out of their way to obtain a license for the Blu-ray. Sure, if it blows up on YouTube, they might get a few $1,000s, but why would Crunchyroll go out of their way to obtain a license that's just a little different from the one they already have the rights to, just to make what is essentially pocket change for a company that big? This is you. You are stupid and broke and chopped and smelly and no one likes you and you're gonna explode. But now, this is you with the Manta Sleep mask. You're still all those things, only cooler. I'm not being paid to say this. I mean, I wasn't paid at all, but since I was looking at a free product, I do have some bias, but still, go check out their site and use my promo code to get 10% off. I'm not saying dimming and ghosting are bad in ruin animation. Well, I am, but I do understand it's the only safe way a lot of people are ever able to watch the show they made about the guys from Fortnite. I say right foot creep. But the fact to watch a show as the creator intended, fans often have to wait months for a Blu-ray release. That is, if it's even available in their country without having to be bought by some asshole on eBay selling them at a crazy inflated price. The fact I'm forced to watch a dark, blurry mess at times and I can't see the entire episode and the artistic vision of the people who worked on it all the way through without someone turning the lights off, sucks. And this isn't an issue unique to shows like JJK. Here's a fight from Boruto that's commonly regarded as one of the best fights in the series and shonen as a whole animation-wise. There's so many points in this fight that are drawn with such carefulness and clarity that isn't seen by most people because the version most sites show, the one on YouTube with 72 million views, is the Vaseline version. I wish the undimmed versions of episodes were uploaded at the same time these edited versions were, because I am not patient enough to not touch a show for a month or even years, just so my first viewing is the way the artist intended it to be. This is something that MAPPA is actually very aware of. They're releasing the first 2 episodes of JJK Season 3 in theaters, alongside a compilation of all the home release versions of the fights from Season 2 undimmed. Not only that, but they released the absolute masterpiece of a movie that's Chainsaw Man the Reze arc in theaters undimmed. The reason they're able to get away with that is because since it's not being aired on TV, they can release it undimmed. I do think airing highly anticipated episodes of anime in theaters or just turning hyped up arcs into movies is something I'd actually like to see more of in the future. Not only does it mean we get to see shows undimmed, but adapting arcs as movies usually comes with a higher budget too, which means they can actually go all out on the animation and have more time to do so. But dimming and ghosting laws exist for a reason. People do have photosensitive epilepsy. There's no reason they shouldn't be promised a safe watch like the rest of us. So what do you think? Do you think regulations are fine as is, or do you think they need to be altered? Should shows that often get this treatment move to streaming, or should the more ambitious fights play in theaters? Let me know what you think in the comments. You guys ever write and edit a video and stuff for like 2 weeks, and right before you release it, something you were complaining about gets completely fixed? You either have to rewrite a part of your video, or make one of those end of the video PSA things. Yeah, me too. Also, I'm trying to hit 1K subscribers by the end of the month, so please subscribe. That'd be really cool. Or don't. It's up to you. I do upload hella inconsistently, so do yourself a favor and turn on notifications because these next few videos might be some bangers. Also, I don't make any money from these, so if you really like the video, you can donate to my Ko-Fi below. And anyone who donates gets to ask a question, which will be answered at the end of whatever video I'm working on at the time. Okay, I'm done with the e-begging. Bye-bye.